Lack of motivation, inconsistency, overly being unproductive, and generally speaking, just being lazy most of the time. These are the types of emotions that are always restricting our growth, limiting our progress. Dealing with these types of emotions on a daily basis, though, makes me realize how much of a pressure we put on ourselves with the New Year resolutions and the big plans that come with it now that we've finished the first month of the year. It's February now. It pains me to say this, and I know how it feels because I've been there. I am still there, kind of. I'm guilty of it myself, but unless we do something about these emotions, unfortunately, we're gonna be in the same exact spot next year. And it hurts. Absolutely hurts.
فطير في الحياة من الصحاب ومن يأمنك يا
It's an unfortunate reality where the majority of people get too excited and just overly hyped about, making a change in their lives in the beginning of the year with all these big plans, but that starts to fade away immediately a few months or even a few weeks into the new year, doesn't it? Has it already for you? So what changes so quickly, and what causes the less desire or the low level of motivation to stick to our plans? And what's so different about other people who succeed to stick to their plans or their New Year resolutions, whatever you want to call them? Well, just what makes them different? Why can I not do it? I think, as I mentioned at the start of this video, it's one thing and one thing only. Even though we might call them different names, and bear with me here, lack of motivation, procrastination, just low self-esteem sometimes, or more bluntly, just laziness. This is actually a big issue that we're trying to deal with here. Definitely not trying to brush it off or just tell you that you're being too lazy, so get up and do some work. No, I absolutely, I acknowledge the issue and I appreciate that we're here trying to fix it up instead of just dismissing it. I want to break the issue down into the three factors or the three stages that trigger that lack of motivation or laziness. Now that we've come to terms with all these different names, hopefully, what we're essentially discussing here is the habit of not getting work done. And because it's a habit, basically we can break out of it and we can replace it with a new habit. And we have to understand that it will take time. It will take effort, but we can break out of it. Scientifically proven that we can break out of it. And what we're trying to replace this habit with is the habit of consistency, showing up every day and doing the work. Establishing a routine, establishing something that we're satisfied with. And so to reach consistency, we have to be aware of the three factors, I call them, or the three stages, okay? Because these come in order. And the first thing here is awareness of the emotional state that we're in. What are we dealing with? Do we have some stress that's maybe caused by, lack of clarity or built up frustration or maybe chaotic thoughts? And sometimes it could be caused by external factors, maybe something that you're going through right now, financial matters, something, right? And therefore, this is what causes you to have all of these fluctuations in your day. Sometimes you feel good and energetic and excited to do some work, so you work. Other days, you don't feel like doing anything, and so you don't do anything. The idea here is to have as much control as you can over these emotions. And by digging deeper, at least you understand what causes them. And so now you have a little bit of clarity, more clarity into what comes next. And so we're transitioning into the next step. And the next step here, or the next stage, is the overall vision. What are you always thinking about? What occupies your mind most of the time, And in this stage, we start to define our broad goals instead of walking aimlessly. So try to spend some quality time offloading, all these random thoughts that are floating in your head. Take the pressure off of your mind and relieve yourself from the daily stress. Brain vomit all of them into a piece of paper and visualize them again. Visualize them, So all of these random thoughts now, they will become clear. And spend some good time looking at them. These are all the random thoughts. Then afterwards, and once you feel comfortable that everything is written down, then you start to prioritize. You need to understand that you can't focus on everything all at once. And remember that if you don't prioritize, you'll be paralyzed by all the desires, all the many ideas that you have, which cause you to be scattered all over the place. You're not focused, you know? So you have to choose a path to walk on. These are all your choices. You pick out of all of these random ideas and you be focused. I watched a video recently that talks about all of this and the importance of it. And there was a quote in it that says, "It's better to learn to love the path that you choose than to forever be stuck choosing the perfect path that doesn't exist." And so when you've done that, we move on to the third stage. Specific systems. This is where you need to translate the big goals into daily small habits that you do on a regular. You know, this is what will take you to where you want to be. This is the path that you walk on. Goals is just the bigger picture. Goals is the compass or the direction that guides you. As James Clear stated in his famous book, The Atomic Habits, we do not rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems. If you don't have something that you incorporate and follow every day to take you to this, the overall vision, you'll never achieve the overall vision. You'll never achieve your big goals. So what kind of daily actions can you focus on? And this will bring me to the specific example, how to incorporate this method, how to transition between all of these stages. Okay, I'm very frustrated that I haven't been able to memorize the Quran. This is driving me crazy right now. And so my overall vision is to memorize, is to work on this noble goal. I want to memorize the Quran. And therefore my specific system should be, I will memorize half a page, for example, after Dhuhr prayer, and I will review 2 pages after Maghrib prayer. Now you know what you need to do. You're not lost anymore. You were frustrated, you knew the vision, and then you worked on a daily system. And so, I don't know, maybe 5 months down the road, you'll be able to achieve it. You'll see the results that you were looking for. Bi'idhnillah. Bi'idhnillah. So let's try this method into whatever we want to do. You know, we're frustrated about something, we dig deeper, we understand what causes the frustration. And then we establish an overall vision and then a daily routine, a daily specific system to take us into this, to get rid of this. Inshallah. And in the end, since we know that this is a new habit, this is something that we're trying to establish and work on, we have to start small. Don't go crazy and then just overwhelm yourself with something very big to start, and then you'll be burned out, and then basically you'll quit. And the second thing, which is very important, and a lot of people fail just because they don't recognize this, which is to have balance. Understand when to stick to your habit, when you need to be disciplined, and when to let go. Life happens, life is life, and life, sometimes takes over. And so you have to show compassion and you have to be flexible with whatever comes your way. And so understand when you need to be strict and when to be relaxed and flexible. And in the end, it's just a matter of understanding that it's all about time. So spend less time focusing on the outcome and spend more time on the habits that precede the results. Yeah. Oh. See you in the next video.